congratulations for Let Me Be Me documentary.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a really cool experience, but I'm excited. So thank you.
Well, it's even more excited the fact that it's going to be showcased at Doc NYC this year. How do you feel about that?
I think it's great. I think, Doc NYC is an amazing platform and it's an amazing film festival, and I'm very excited.
That is terrific. I've checked out the film, got to know you a whole lot better throughout this entire film. But tell us this: how did the filmmakers convince you to be a part of this documentary? How did they discover you?
That's a really great question. It really, for me, I think it was a process in terms of having a conversation with me, my family. All of us really wanted to say, like, now's the right time to really tell the story. All of us really wanted to tell it. And so we really wanted to tell it in a very truthful, authentic, and really a heartfelt and really hard. And yeah, so we wanted to do that. So that's sort of how that conversation began.
I mean, that was some treasure trove of old footages of you during your childhood. Did that take very long to provide that to the filmmakers?
Not really. It was great actually. Is my mom found it, and she was it was in our house somewhere in like some part of storage, and we pulled it out, and we're just like, oh my God, this is such a great sort of treasure trove of history, nostalgia, the past, really fantastic memories that really meant the world to me and to my family.
I think that is terrific. I have never seen so much footage of one's children, unless with the millennials. But
Yeah.
that is a lot of footage that your family managed to discover and
Yeah.
took of you. Now, let's talk about your experiences first. What would in besides watching the documentary, your childhood, you grew up. I want to say, was it scared or was it happy when you grew up for your childhood? Were you concerned?
For me, I would say my childhood was very happy. Yeah, there were challenges, and you do get to see a little bit of that in the film, or some of that in the film, especially in some of the archival footage, and through interviews of my parents really, and me sort of explaining the challenges and things that I was going through. But for the most part, I grew up in a very happy household. For me, I developed a really close relationship with my siblings, sort of, during that time and sort of, after the program as well. So for us, it was really, we were sort of your average American family at that point. Yeah.
And I also noted that your siblings were there lock and step all the way through, defending you at every single turn.
Yeah, they really, all of us are champions of each other, and we all support one another, and we're all very close as a family, and so they mean the world to me.
That is terrific. Now, tell us about this Sunrise program. What do you recall when you were a child about the program?
Yeah, so in my experience, the program was really about, at least to me, it felt like it was sort of, wanting me to sort of join their world, not necessarily their world, but basically wanting me to, as it's a better way to describe this. I'm still waking up, but in the morning. But basically, Sunrise for me was very much I was learning about trust. I was learning about how to build relationships, how to move past that fear of that I talk about in the film of learning how to have a conversation, learning how to talk to people, sort of like spiders and sort of arachnophobia, and sort of being willing to sort of conquer that fear and sort of build that sort of yellow brick on that yellow brick road, and really learn how to trust people and build those relationships. And so one of my favorite scenes in the film is where I get to have I get to see Rachel and Lindsay, who are my volunteers again, and years later, and it's when I see them, it's almost like no time has changed, and it's they're people who know me for the core person that I am, and so they mean the world to me.
So it sounds like in your belief, the Sunrise program actually worked.
In terms of anything medical that is sort of about in question about autism, I would relate to our colleague Dr. Wendy Ross, who runs the autism program at Jefferson, and she's fabulous. She's absolutely fantastic. But in my own personal experience, for me, the Sunrise program really helped me push my goals. And when I realized that I wanted to get from point A to point B, my volunteers and my family and the people around me who were supporting me helped me get from point A to point B. And so whatever point A in terms of, learning how to talk to someone, learning how to, ask a friend over for a play date, learning how to, ask for help, learning how to, any social situation that I think anyone could have questions about. My volunteers and my family and the people behind me were there to support me, and it was really, I wouldn't be where I was without them.
So your life growing up literally was a sense that it takes a village, and you're very thankful for all of that.
Absolutely. For me, it really took an amazing village, and I think, as a village, we're all sort of there for one another. And so the film talks about, radical acceptance, love, and coming together, and, also the many definitions of family and how those roles can take. And I think that in the film, at least for me, you see all sorts of versions of that come together. And I think that's what makes it fantastic.
At which point in your life did you know that it was a turning point for yourself?
I think for me and my own personal experience, when the room was sort of not really so much about me learning how to overcome or deal with autism, where it became more about me conquering the goals that I wanted to achieve, that's when I knew that there was a turning point, because it became more about Kyle the person rather than, oh, this is Kyle. I mean, it was always about me as a person, but it was less about autism and more about me and my entire identity that now I could communicate with people and how I identify with.
So as an adult, you identify as Kyle, but you don't. When you converse with others, you don't bring up the topic of autism, or people aren't aware of that anymore, right?
Yeah, so actually, I would say in college, it's really funny when people would come up to me, they would say, like, you tell me your entire background, but if you wouldn't have said anything, I would have had no idea. So, for me, it's autism is, how I define it now is I sort of say I'm fully emerged. But for me, I sort of thought the other day of a really great analogy where, autism for me is like that toy chest that you have in your closet from when you were a child, and you can always take that toy chest out, open it up, play with your favorite toys again, play with your favorite action figures or dolls, whatever you wanted to play with, and you can be like, oh, this is amazing. And then, when you're done, you can put the toys back and you can close the chest, and then you can put it back in the closet. So for me, it's such a special part of my past that, and there's still parts of it that I use today, but in terms of my everyday, is autism sort of on my brain or a dialogue that I have with myself, it's not something currently that I engage with or identify with in a way.
Do you feel like you're still battling it sometimes today, or basically you're just used to it?
For me, it's not something that I deal with day to day. I deal with more my everyday life in terms of, trying to be a young person, figuring out their direction and where they're going. So for me, it's more reference to my past than what I deal with currently.
So no more fidgeting with sticks or spinning around. That's for certain.
That's really generally more of a behavior. I mean, I still fidget, but I think, there's a whole market for fidget spinners. I feel like everyone kind of fidgets that way. So I think for me, it's more of, I'm able to use some of the aspects of my past, but then I'm able to sort of put the pencil down, have a conversation, have an interview, have a great dialogue, and, also communicate what I'm thinking about in my head and being like, oh my God, this would make an amazing runway show, or this would be an amazing garment, or this would be, a fabulous color group for a collection. And so, I just learned the tools over the years to learn how to engage with people and have a good sort of back and forth dialogue. And, really, in my opinion, being the fully grown, fully like have a full identity as a person out in the world.
Now, you managed to be proactive, especially in the fashion industry. Tell us about finally pursuing that dream goal of yours.
It's been a great, fashion is something I always love, and it goes back to, I think, the film and Cinderella, and wanting to make that moment of wanting to make that someone feel great, and that sort of Cinderella moment. And for me, it's sort of like, transforming someone with the magic wand is sort of like a person wearing that amazing jacket or a great dress that they love, and they see themselves in the mirror. And it's like giving someone that moment of, feeling true to who they are, and, basically giving them that confidence so they can do whatever they want in the world is something that is just innate in me. And I'm glad that I keep continuing to explore it.
Now the fashion industry is a very tough industry. Are you still pursuing it? I mean, I had a sister who graduated from FITM, and she basically gave up on that industry.
It's a tough industry, but you learn, you learn to find people who are supportive and mentors. And, as of now, I'm open to every opportunity, and, I'm just seeing where the universe takes me, and I'm open to every opportunity, and you never know what will come along. So I'm just along for the ride.
So you're still in New York City, and your best friend was portrayed in the film during this entire process. So I'm under the assumption that you're doing well and with a great circle of friends today.
Yeah, I've since now left New York, but I moved back to Philadelphia, but I am, super close to New York City, and between both cities, I have a good group of friends. And, now it's just been continuing my network, and learning from whoever comes along that can, provide a resource. And I hope to do the same for them. So I hope, to learn and build mutual great connections.
That is terrific. Well, let me leave with one more thought with you,
Yeah.
Kyle. Is when people have a chance, as audiences have a chance to watch this film, Let Me Be Me, what is the one most important lesson that you hope that they would take away after watching your film?
I think for me, and it's just only in my experience, I think for me, I would say that, this film is really about love, acceptance, accepting yourself, accepting your journey, accepting who you are, and then continuing to put something out there that's positive, and that people can learn from, and, build hope. I think for me, that's important, is, building love, hope, acceptance, bringing people together. And I think that's kind of what we all want.
Well, I do have to admit, this is certainly a feel-good documentary, and I like the fact that it had a happy ending, especially for you. Thank you very much, Kyle, for speaking to us about Let Me Be Me, and I wish you good luck down the road, especially your career. I can't wait. Your fashion was terrific. That was.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And it was lovely doing this interview. So thank you so much.
Hey, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it. Bye now.